Hello there. Happy New Year. Okaida Nu. Merry Hogmanay. Whatever it is you say where you're from. Say goodbye to the old and hello to the new. And thank fuck for that. This is the side quest, the Authors and Dragons episodes we do between the regular Authors and Dragons adventures. As you can tell, I'm already like an hour into the new year. It's going alright for me. Getting pretty drunk.
Fuck you, future man.
Yeah. Paving the way.
Just all day I've been wanting to reach out to my friend in China and say, did your clock actually move? Is it really gonna flip?
I can confirm.
Great Scott!
What's it like on the other side, Steve?
Dark.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, you're in fucking England. The sun never shines.
Not according to Bob.
Bullshit.
Except when Bob goes over there.
Bevan's not here. It's dark. Full moon. The moors are haunted with mist and foreboding. But that's pretty much every day where I'm from. Speaking of New Year, you might have guessed that's what this side quest is about. We like to do a year in review every year after the New Year on the side quest.
They're usually a bit celebratory. Usually.
I mean, I'm gonna celebrate that this year will be in the fucking rear view.
Well, I actually listened to our old one and we were all like, oh man, 2019 was so rough. Things can only get better from here.
What fools we were.
Oh,
Do you remember when everyone was all excited because it was like Halloween was on a Saturday, 420 was of course a full month. There was just a bunch of like really good timed shit that all lined up. It's like, man, this is gonna be the best party year ever. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
you sweet summer child. We're all middle-aged men, and we came into this year so fucking naive. And now we're all ready for retirement.
To be fair, none of us called this in our year in review. So we're going to have to be a bit sharper about these things going forward.
Yeah, missed it.
People want to take us seriously as a credible news source, which I assume they do.
2021, I'm calling locusts.
Yeah. The last thing we want to do is do a year in review 2021 and be like, we ended 2020 as fresh young virgins, and 2021 came at us like a sandpaper covered dildo.
Who could have foreseen the rise of the cyber incels?
Yeah, there's so much fucked. But, alright, I'm going to kick us off with something this year that I enjoyed. And there aren't fucking many, so revel in this shit. I've played a lot of fucking video games this year. Like, I'm not a big gamer, and I've played a lot of fucking video games this year.
Well, that's a good place to start. Normally we do TV show of the year, film of the year. That's going to be a fucking joke. And video game of the year. So, yeah, let's start with video games. I think that's probably the more credible, optimistic one to go with. Off you go, John.
As is always my thing, the game was released in 2019 because I'm a cheap bastard and I never buy games when they're new. But I did get Borderlands 3 this year with all the downloadable content, and holy shit, was it good.
Can I just interrupt you here? Because I didn't listen to all of our last 2019 year in review, but I'm fairly certain that your last 2019 video game pick was Borderlands 2, which also wasn't released in 2019.
Oh no, it was 6 years old last year. I got it real cheap. But that tells you how much I liked Borderlands 2 that I paid like 50% of retail for Borderlands 3. I didn't even wait for it to get down to like the $20 Epic Games Steam bundle shit. I paid close to real money for that shit.
I like this game so much, I didn't wait 5 years to find it in a bargain bin.
Is this the time when I tell you that I've spent the last 2 weeks playing Fallout 3 and 4? Because I'm pretty sure they're at least that old. Actually, Fallout 3 is 10 years old, so yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one.
I beat up some homeless man and took his 10-year-old laptop, and now I'm enjoying Fallout 3.
This is why I don't ever have to buy the new consoles when they're hard to come by, y'all. Fucking wouldn't play that old shit anyway.
that is a story for this year, the release of the next-gen consoles, the subsequent buying of those next-gen consoles by bots and scalpers, and the subsequent nobody really talking or giving a shit about the next-gen consoles. I can't imagine anyone's going to be really talking about that until, I guess, they've stopped being traded by robots. I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
I did get lucky and snag an Xbox, and just
Yeah.
by
Ooh.
pure happenstance, I was on Amazon at the right time, and the link worked, and I was like, yeah.
Robot.
I will say, they are great. Like, if you can get your hands on one, the standard I was using was the Kingdoms of Amalur remake that came out this year, which I did enjoy, and was a contender for probably one of my top games of the year. But it was slow as piss on all the load screens,
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ,
there were
yeah.
so many load screens. It was just
Mhm.
functionally unplayable at a certain point. And so when I got the new version with the SSD, I was like, all right, let's see. And I was like, oh shit, oh my god, yeah, this is 20-second screens were going by in 2 to 3 seconds. And I was like, yeah, this is a lot more fun now.
Oh, wow.
Load.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about the PS5, too, because Borderlands has the same thing. It's like 2-minute load screens for some of this shit. And I'm like, oh my god.
Mm.
It helps, though, because I can just go piss, because I'm old and I have to go pee a lot. But
Well, if you get a next-gen console, you're just going to have to sit there with a catheter or something, John. This is maybe not the solution you hope it is. It's going to take away your convenient pee time. Is this really what we want?
Got my empty milk
What do you
jug.
call it? A stadium bucket?
I'll just piss on the cat. He's got a lot of fur. It'll be fine.
You'd be making a cat useful as well, so that is a
An accomplishment.
shockingly efficient. Well done. Well done,
Fucking
you.
achievement unlocked. So yeah, for me, it's going to be video game of the year is obviously going to be Borderlands 3, which is only 1 year old. So that's impressive for me.
I'm going to lay down a pick of the year. Not for the reasons you might think it is, because I haven't actually played it yet. I bought it for my stepson. And he's kind of said, you know what? I'm just going to wait until they patch this fucker, because apparently it is broken as fuck. So
I know
Cyberpunk
what's
2077
coming.
is my pick of the year. Purely because I think this is the first time, and by all accounts the game's pretty enjoyable and people are enjoying it, but this is the first time somebody's put out a broken piece of shit and just went, we'll use our customers as beta testers and patch it as we go along. Because of corporate
Not the first time,
fuckery.
trust me.
I was like, not
I've
even
been
close.
trying-
No, I mean,
yeah.
like,
Time.
it's the first time I think Sony has went, you know what? Fuck you, we're not selling this.
Yeah,
And that's a huge step in the right direction, I think. Not to denigrate Cyberpunk 2077, like you said, it's not the first one to do it at all. People have been doing it for a long time. But I think this is the first time a major publisher has said, you know what? No, we're just going to stop selling this until you sort your shit out. And I think that's a good direction to go in.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's you should sell finished product.
And we've become shockingly complacent in not doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy what people get away with.
Yeah.
It's become an expected part of the experience, and you would not do that for any other medium at all.
I get it in some ways because there are 5 to 7 years between a game and its sequel, and these things are in development for so fucking long, and they're so goddamn expensive to make. You gotta start seeing money come back at some point. So yeah, I get the rush, but still.
If I thought, John, it's like, oh, sorry the game was delayed, it was because all our developers are on such great hours and benefits and really good pay, and we don't want to push them too hard, I'd be a bit more sympathetic to that. But I know that's not the case.
Oh no, they did bad crunch, and they pulled. It feels especially egregious with Cyberpunk 2077 because of how like actively they hid the console versions being such shit fires. Like
Yes.
they banned review copies until the day of release. They didn't let anybody capture footage of their own and stream it. Like it was fucking. They very clearly knew they were selling a broken product and were just expecting to get by on people not being allowed to refund their pre-orders, which you normally can't.
Yeah.
They got the nicest guy in the world to hype this for them. because they knew they were evil. They're like, who can we get who's not evil to hype this? Keanu Reeves, he's the nicest guy in Hollywood. Let's take advantage of that.
Ooh, I bet he was pissed.
Yeah, I bet he was.
Because he doesn't seem like one of those guys who's like, fuck it, the check cleared. Because he makes, I don't know, $500 bajillion a year anyway.
No, absolutely not. He does interesting little projects that might not necessarily benefit him very much. And, for him to do that with this and lend that kind of trust to everyone and then say, okay, let's sneak the fact that we've released a broken game through the back door while Keanu Reeves is distracting everyone with his wonderfulness. A real dick move.
Agreed.
So Cyberpunk 2077 gets my game of the year because it's about damn time somebody put their foot down on that. And I'm glad they did. I hope they keep that up.
I mean, in all fairness to CD Projekt Red, apparently they were getting death threats because the game was so delayed. And I'm sure that does not help the situation.
Yeah, I wonder though, do you get more death threats because it's late? Or then do you get more death threats because it's a piece of shit when it releases?
I don't.
It's
You know,
the
getting
people on the
any
internet,
threats.
yeah. People on the internet are kind of assholes. They're going to give.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Surprise, huh? But,
What they should do is just invite everyone who gives them a death threat to meet them behind a playground after lunch and then just beat the shit out of them. That's what they should do. I think that would solve that. If everybody, because there's nobody who is confident, physically developed enough that they are threatening a games developer because their escapist fantasy isn't arriving quickly enough. Those people are not physical threats. They should just get one developer who's just had a bad day and go, you know what, mate? As a little bit of a reward, we're going to let you beat the shit out of 50 fucking internet goblins today. And that would solve it.
Take like a tenth of what you paid Keanu Reeves and pay Brock Lesnar to just stand behind the schoolhouse and beat the fuck out of gamer boys. Because he's a terrifying man.
It's an empty threat. They should hire the deadliest man in the world saying, I will personally fight everyone who shows up after they give this terrible death threats to developers like horrible cowards they are. It's an empty threat because they're not going to show up because they're just fucking internet goblins.
Yeah.
And what they say and what they do should have no bearing on how anyone behaves in the world at all.
just track people down via their IP addresses and just explain. It's like, yes, we understand your kid made the death threat, not you, but we're still going to beat the shit out of you as an example to them.
In front of your kid.
Yeah.
This is how it has to be. Or, let the police deal with it.
That is so not the New Jersey way of doing things, Steve.
Yeah, I know. It's not a fun way of doing things. It's not the righteous way of doing things. It doesn't feel good.
That is not what John Wick would do.
No. But the point is, I don't think the developers of Cybersub said, we better hurry this up, guys. Some tough guys on the internet are going to come around and kill us. I mean, it sucks that they have to deal with that bullshit, but I don't really think it's a kind of factor in how they roll out a game.
Do they have to deal with it? I'm sure they hire some poor schlub to absorb death threats.
Nah.
Yeah.
Think about how easy it is for these assholes who have no lives and nothing better to do with their time. Think about how easy it is for them to say, okay, well, these are all the people who work in development at this company. Doody-doo, here's their Twitter handle.
Yeah. I mean, let's. There are people out there, like, you show up with one less French fry from their DoorDash, you're getting a death threat. So
That's true.
Yeah. I think from what
I
I've
said I was
read,
sorry.
the most likely culprit was investors.
Yeah.
Is what I have heard. But again, that lets some of the management off the hook in a way that seemed like a little too coincidental. So maybe the push came from investments, but the choices still came from management.
Well, it does happen in companies a lot that a bunch of rich people have no actual clue how anything fucking works or why people like the product they've invested in start calling the shots. That happens a lot.
Oh, are we now a politics podcast?
No, that's politics so much as, I don't know, just nature, maybe?
The nature of investment capital. Yeah, I mean, it's the same principle as anyone who's ever worked any job and had a manager overhead who doesn't know jack shit about how the sausage is made.
Yeah, video games are making a lot of money. I'm going to invest in them. Hey, you. Hey, nerd, make the video games. Okay, it's going to take about 12 months. Nah, let's call it 7.
Nah, 6 months is fine. It'll be great.
Okay, boss.
And we get Atari's E.T.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are like whole documentaries about the making of that game now, and they're really interesting.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
I'd love to find the landfill and just go there and just absorb the atmosphere of doom that I assume permeates it.
Well,
You know, in the 21st century, that needs to be like a treasure map where like somebody finds, they like just like traverse the country and finally they reach and they undig it, and their treasure is a bunch of old moldy ET cartridges.
Well, they could have like corporate days out at these video game companies where they get the investors and they put them on a private jet and they serve them champagne from pretty flight attendants. Then they land them and they just go to the landfill and say, "This is what happens when you're a dick." And then hopefully everyone learns a lesson and we stop putting out broken video games for well-meaning customers to pay full price for.
You know what they should do? One random person on that jet, somebody rises out of the ground wearing a costume made of like ET costume video games and beats them to death.
Oh, God.
Just as a lesson to the rest.
Just one board member gets his shit kicked out of him by E.T.
yeah.
Just an ET mascot costume to even up the score, because it's going to be an old guy. So, all right,
Yeah.
you have to wear this giant foam ET costume. It's going to be real hard to see and move around, but you can fight this old guy.
All the investors have to play the E.T. game.
Ooh, yeah. If I was one of the investors, I'd be like, no, where do I line up? Where do I sign up to get the shit kicked out of me by the guy in the ET suit? Because that would hurt worse. That would hurt less.
You have to play the game while fighting the ET guy.
These old guys would even have a fucking clue. They're like, okay, so what? Why is this question mark running around the screen, falling into dots?
Drew, bad idea. If the E.T. guy was fighting while they were playing the game, they'd be like, well, at least something's happening.
Yeah, make the game feel too good.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So back on video games themselves. I would say man, I played a few. I really did enjoy that Kingdoms of Amalur, but I feel weird counting it because it's a remaster.
I was an inch away from counting Fallout 4.
I would say I really enjoyed the one I've been playing recently, which is Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is a stupid name for a game that is just wholesale a Breath of the Wild ripoff. 100%. Like they weren't even subtle about it. It is fully on just fucking a theft of so many mechanics and styles. But on the other hand, I really loved Breath of the Wild, so even a shitty knockoff is still kind of fun to play.
I was about to say, I'll take it. I'll take the
Yeah.
whole thing reskinned with just like different graphics if you got it. I just enjoyed that game.
Yeah,
It's the Greek gods. There's some attempts at witty dialogue, but the systems are straightforward and it's pretty fun to soar around and shit. So yeah, I'll go Immortals Phoenix Rising.
that makes sense. I mean, back in PS2 days when God of War came out, there was a bunch of bad knockoffs, but they were all fun to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like Pepsi. It could be a
Yeah.
knockoff of Coke, but
I'm not going to throw it off the fucking table, you know? It's,
Yeah,
fuck, I'll drink RC Cola, you know? I don't give a shit.
I like RC Cola. I'm down with that.
Well, again, some stuff out there, aren't we? I was going to say, speaking of Greek god adventure games, I will put in a serious contender for Game of the Year, Hades.
Oh, that is a fun one.
It's a roguelike with just kind of an addictive level up system and fun gameplay. We've seen 1,000 of them, you know, every year. But what I liked about it, great voice acting, great writing, and just living proof that you do not need to spend millions upon millions on slick animation to tell a great story. This is an indie level game, and it was engaging me in ways that much more expensive games simply don't, through the power of good writing, voice acting, and just great atmospheric game design.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that.
And it worked. It wasn't broken.
Yeah, that's always a plus.
Cheap, available on all systems, does what it's supposed to do, delivers a great story, a great atmospheric experience, without having to pay millions for a Hollywood actor to polish the turd that it is. So, There's a lesson to be learned there. So that's the other half of my recommendation coin.
Mine's nothing amazing to me. I bought Civilization 6 for my son for his birthday last month, and I haven't actually played it, but I've been watching him play, and it was $20 because it's from 2016, and I bought it for the Switch, and I thought, I don't know if he's gonna like this, but I kind of want to play it, but he loves it, so.
That's selfish brat.
No, I have the choice. I could play it, but I don't have the time.
Oh.
But I'm glad somebody is.
I'm quite glad, Bevan, because 2016 is a lot closer to current year than I thought your game pick was going to be. So
Atari's ET.
Yeah. Well, mine actually is, I think, what you would call a 2020 AAA title or so. I spent a lot of time and I had a lot of fun with Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a little bit of that play. That's so lovely.
Is that the raw fish on the rice ball or just the raw fish without the rice ball?
Ah, John.
But now I really want to DoorDash sushi.
It does sound a bit like food, that's fair. But then again, I'm not entirely up on Japanese words. I'm barely up on English words.
Yeah. The game is basically... It's Red Dead Redemption meets Assassin's Creed in like feudal Japan, and it's just a lot of fun. You're pretty much just riding around. You're taking missions. Sometimes you're just coming across random people. You're killing bad guys. I think occasionally you're killing good guys. You're stealing good guys' shit. It's like, you walk into these poor villagers' house and they're like, "We have nothing." And you're like, "Oh, but I'm gonna take what you have."
Cool.
As long as you're killing people, that's. You're having a good video game experience.
It's a beautifully crafted game. There's a lot of really nice visuals in it. But I mean, from a combat standpoint, when I'm playing a video game, I want to be a murder hobo, and there's plenty of opportunities for that.
You can be an elegant murder hobo. That's what all the best samurai films are. Just elegance, high drama, murder.
Now, does your murder hoboing affect your reputation later in the game, or can you just murder hobo with impunity?
I think this is one of those ones where you pretty much, you get a couple. I think there's a couple different endings, but I don't think it's one of those ones where you harvest these little girls for for their souls. Oh, that makes you the bad guy. I don't think it's one of those.
And trust me, if there had been that option, Rick would have fully explored it by now.
Yeah, no.
Well, he didn't say the option wasn't there. He just said it doesn't make you a bad guy.
Yeah. Believe me, no matter what the narrative, all these games have this heroic narrative, and it definitely does not match the narrative that's running in my head as I'm playing it.
Give me all your shit, random civilian.
Yeah, we've read Jimmy Headshot, bro.
I ride into a town. It's like, "Hello, bullet sponges with who are temporarily holding my shit."
It doesn't matter what Rick's playing; he's still playing GTA in his head.
As much as I love Debrodio, if there's one person on this podcast who should be streaming their video game experiences, it's definitely Rick.
Well, the problem is I'm mostly playing on the PS. I've been playing on the PS4. I haven't really been playing a lot of PC games.
You can stream Twitch. You can stream Twitch on your PS4.
Well, now I learned something new.
I don't, because I really suck, but it exists.
I'd be a great streamer. Which fucking HDMI port is this in?
You just managed to stream your face for an hour and not the game at all.
Half my streams would be me figuring out which button to shoot with, and the other half would be, "God damn it, cat, get your ass out of my face."
You could just stream your cat's butthole. There's definitely an audience for that out there.
You might make too much money with that one.
Yeah. It's kind of cheating to the rest of us content creators.
I'm now trying to think about how to rig the GoPro to just film my cat's asshole.
That feels like a sign that we've reached the end of the video game.
Have we, Drew, or have we just started?
I think we're right on to movies.
Well, yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say if we're talking about Cat's asshole, that's a good segue to movies.
Oh yeah, that is an excellent segue to movies.
Speaking of a GoPro on a cat's asshole.
We actually watched The Cat's Asshole this year. If you're not up on the Patreon, there's an at the movies of us watching the Cats movie together, and it's an experience.
Oh God! I mean, we had a tournament of terror this year, and there was not one single horror movie we watched that was more horrifying than the Cats movie.
Not even close.
Not even remotely close. Sheer nightmare fuel. Speaking of nightmare fuel, the movie situation in 2020. We've done a couple of podcasts on this because it has been such a spectacular Hindenburg. So movies, does anyone even have a favorite movie of 2020?
I am straight up looking at Rotten Tomatoes for the best movies of the year countdown, and I'm like, fuck, did I see any movies this year?
So I've got one, and it's on Hulu. So if anybody wants to check it out, should be hopefully available for you. It's Palm Springs, the time loop Andy Samberg indie comedy that got a lot of buzz in I can't remember what festival it was, and got picked up by Hulu, and then popped out over the summer. It's a very fun, well-constructed, aware, but still taking itself seriously time loop movie. And I don't want to say a lot more because, like a lot of them, it's better to kind of go in and discover what the conceits and everything are. But it's really good.
I'll check that one out.
Well, I love Andy Samberg,
Yeah, me too.
and I remember seeing this advertised, and I remember it just launching to very little fanfare. Is that a case of just 2020 and movies just releasing onto these kind of maybe still siloed?
Yeah, it feels like it was probably part of it is that it's just on Hulu and it got sort of released out this year. I heard people talking about it on various podcasts and stuff I listened to, so I think it got a little buzz, but I mean, it just sort of dropped with no real fanfare outside of the Hulu splash page.
Yeah.
It's not like I saw commercials for it or anything.
I don't have Hulu. I don't think a lot of people in the UK do, so it's not as if I'll just be casually checking Hulu to see when that arrived. So
I have it and watch a lot of stuff on Hulu and have no idea what this is. So
Yeah.
well, I think this is pointing out a disadvantage of the whole streaming thing is I don't want to be paying for too many streaming services, because then it's just like the old school cable problem all over again, where you're paying for a lot of shit you're never going to watch. But it does lead to this kind of problem where something really great can happen, and you're like, yeah, well, I think the Karate Kid series was a great example of that. I did not touch on that at all because it was on YouTube. Like, I'm not watching YouTube original content. It'll probably just be some guy telling Nazi jokes to kids or something. But
While filming his cat's asshole.
yeah, while filming his cat's asshole. But they put it on Netflix. I watched it. It was fucking great. Really enjoyed it. But there's this problem, I think, of streaming service siloing, which we haven't really figured out a way to cross promote across yet, I think.
no, I think you're right. Especially with as much original content as the streaming services are producing, or as much content as they're picking up from other markets and claiming as original content, even though it was fucking made on another continent and they just put an N on the cover. But
yeah, I mean, you say that and it's a dirty move, but there's also some really cool shit coming out of Japan and Korea. There's Netflix, quote unquote, originals, I guess.
yeah,
But I would never have heard of them otherwise. I don't spend a lot of time in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, I took a look at I guess the major releases list, and there's only two I've seen for 2020. I saw Birds of Prey and I saw Wonder Woman 84, and neither of them were very good. So,
see, I liked Birds of Prey. That was one of mine. One of the few that I saw, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, I enjoyed Birds of Prey, but would by no means be my pick of 2020 or a pick of a year in any kind of normal cinematic year. I mean, I enjoyed it, It was kind of tonally a bit all over the place. I thought they were going for the Deadpool, it's funny but very violent, and it's like, there's a line there, and Ewan McGregor carving a teenage girl's face off is kind of, it stops being wacky violence and starts being a bit disturbing, and that didn't really vibe with me, so there are kind of hiccups in it tonally, but otherwise, yeah, I really enjoyed it, but...
Yeah, it kind of struck me, both movies kind of struck me as typical DCEU. We're trying to ape better movies, but we somehow don't know how to make one.
Well, what I really loved about Wonder Woman 1984, I haven't seen it yet, but a lot of people are saying they just didn't like it, and nobody's calling them a misogynist. So either we've kind of, maybe the conversation around movie critique has grown up a little bit, or maybe that film's just really fucking bad. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, Rick, which is it?
There's some plot. There's some major plot holes in that, and one of them is kind of a really kind of disturbing one. And I will give spoilers, but it's like you watch it and like when you're watching it, it doesn't strike you, but afterwards if you think about it, you're like, wow, that was really fucking shitty of Wonder Woman to do.
I think I know what you're talking about just from reviews on this. I think a lot
I
of people
definitely know what he's
picked up on
talking
it.
about just from reviews, but that it would be getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
It would be getting into spoilers. Spoiler alert, Rick's a misogynist. Any other... Bevan, come on, man. What have you got for us? What movies have you watched this year?
I've been trying to think. I haven't even listened to you guys talk. I'm struggling.
Holy shit.
I have the only one I can remember because we watched it recently was that one with Bill Murray and Rashida Jones. What was that called? Does anyone even know what I'm talking about?
Not a clue.
I know there was a
Oh,
Bill
shit.
Murray movie, something like On the Rocks.
On the Rocks,
Yes.
yeah. It was all right. I wouldn't call it the best of anything, but it's the only thing I can remember seeing.
I've heard it was a movie.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that.
I watched Enola Holmes, which was a Netflix original, and it was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good noises about that.
It wasn't brilliant, but Millie Bobby Brown is fun to watch. She's really charming. Henry Cavill was decent and charming. It was completely harmless and witty and fun. So it was fine. It was probably the best movie I watched this year, but I'm kind of like Bob. I can really come up with 2 new movies that I watched this year.
That's I think that's the most solid endorsement we've had so far. Yours and Drew's. So yeah, I'll take considering how rocky it's been this year, considering
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I did see a movie that I really liked and was looking forward to for a long fucking time. New Mutants.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. I watched
Totally
that
forgot
movie
about
in the
that one.
cinema with my kids. And I thought it would have made a great 8-part Netflix series. I didn't think it made a very good movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't either, but it was good fan service, and I'm a big fan of that story arc of the comics.
No.
I saw the pitch meeting, so I feel adequately educated on it.
It's been a great year for pitch meetings.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about this before. My pick is going to be, again, purely for contrarian and spiteful reasons. In this kind of environment where we've seen these huge money-based house of card models collapse because of a disaster no one could have foreseen, it's probably a good time to focus on tighter, less ambitious, but still entertaining projects. I've been keeping an eye on Shudder as a streaming service because I'm a horror movie fan. And a lot of stuff on Shudder is just pure garbage. But they keep on coming up with originals which are kind of at least match the Hollywood pure garbage horror movies they pump out every year.
Yeah.
And do so on a significantly less budget. But one really interesting movie I saw was called Scare Me. And what was interesting about it was it was basically 2 actors in a room telling horror stories to each other. And it was one of the more interesting horror comedies I've seen in a long time. And it it could not have cost much at all. It was written, directed, and starring, and produced, I think, by one guy. And just goes to show that you don't need a billion-dollar marquee franchise to entertain someone for 90 minutes. So
that is impressive, man. The cast list for that movie is 5 names long.
yeah, 5 names long, but every single one of them was really fucking talented. Just really good at what they were doing. The right people for the right movie and the right script. And yeah, I think the Hollywood machine is so huge and so slow to turn that it's easy to forget that you can just kind of go out there and see some really interesting movies by the right people with the right budget on the right project. So that's my pick. I recommend that.
I'll check it out. We've got Shudder because my wife loves horror movies.
Yeah. And you know, if you just like naff horror movies and the occasional good horror movie, Shudder is where you should be anyway.
I'm down with that idea.
Did we kill movies any more than 2020 already did?
I was skimming through our At the Movies from this year just to see if any jumped out at me as particularly good. And the 2 that I will mention for our At the Movies episode that featured fascinating movies for 2020. Neither of these are from 2020. They're just ones we did in 2020. But this was the year we did Velocipaster,
Yes.
which was definitely an interesting. I wasn't there for it. I saw it on my own, but it's an interesting watch. This is also the year we had a movie defeat us at our own game when we watched Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever.
Yeah, if you want to be outwitted by a cat, watch Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever. Go in there thinking you're superior, and you'll have the slowly dawning sensation as you watch it that you are in fact being outwitted by a meme. So yeah, that is an interesting.
You'll go in to make fun of the movie, and the movie is going to be there making fun of you.
You know what wasn't an interesting experience? Werewolves of the Third Reich.
Yeah, that
Fuck.
one. That's my worst movie of the year.
Was that made in 2020? Because that's got a real 2020 vibe to it.
The worst one I watched.
I think it might be the worst movie I've seen in my entire fucking life. And I've watched some out there movies.
It is definitely the worst movie with the best title.
Yeah, and not.
Yeah.
We should clarify, not in like a bad good way. Like, there's a lot of bad movies that I would watch again. This was bad in the genuinely boring way.
Mm. I love me a bad movie. It's the right kind of bad movie,
Yeah.
but this was a slap in the face to bad movies everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this bad movie review site I used to read, and they summed it up. They were like, there's only one sin a B movie can make, like one unforgivable sin a B movie can make, and that's to be boring as fuck.
And that is a sin that movie accomplishes in spades.
You could give an 8-year-old the title Werewolves of the Third Reich, and they would write you something more entertaining than whatever it was got shat onto the page. I mean, it just paints such a picture, doesn't it? Werewolves of the Third... Well, Nazi werewolves.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, does the opposite of deliver that somehow.
Yeah, honestly, like, give me a budget of $20 and I will somehow manage to put together a better movie than that.
That's all being spent on the werewolf mask,
Yeah.
and that's enough.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Hell, I won't even spend it on a werewolf mask. I'll shave my dogs and, like, just glue it to somebody's face. It'll still look better.
Ooh, kind of
Wow.
Oh.
As long as that person shows up every now and again in the movie, sure.
Yeah. You could also work the shaved dogs in there somehow as some kind of...
That even scarier.
Yeah,
Yes.
Monster Dog. Woo.
Not only do we have werewolves of the Third Reich, we have shaved dogs of the Third Reich too.
Rick,
That's
I'd
the
like to
title.
invest in your movie idea. We'll talk about this after the podcast.
You guys are gonna have to join us for the A&D Shark Tank mimic chest for that one.
Nazi dog shavers.
That shit's gonna get picked up and be on Shudder before summer.
They move quickly. You gotta give them that. I wonder if they're hiring.
All right, Steve. What comes after movies? Because I think we're
Yeah.
on the shaved dog fight. We have definitely killed movies.
Probably the strongest contender of the year, TV.
Oh, that is a strong one.
Yes. A lot of TV to watch this year.
What are you saying, Steve? You think that we watched a lot of fucking television this year?
I think everybody watched a lot of television this year, and I think they were fucking grateful for it.
Yeah, especially the good shit.
Yes. A lot of good stuff.
I'll throw out one real briefly. I don't think it's gonna be talked about a lot on this one, but just as a shout out, man, the fucking Last Dance was so good. Like, I don't give a shit about basketball, and I devoured that documentary.
I haven't seen this, and I do give a shit about basketballs. Oh wait, is
Oh.
that the? That's the
Michael
fucking
Jordan one,
Oh my god, that was great.
the last season of the Bulls.
Jesus, yes,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
It was so fucking compelling, like, and they built the story structure very well. They told it like using the last year as a narrative for the whole thing. They got great interviews with people, including Michael Jordan. It's just fucking so good.
And they got so many people to, because I remember that year, I remember watching that season, and I remember Rodman vanishing and going to fucking Vegas for a couple of days and all this shit. And they got those guys to come back, however, 20 something years later, and explain what was going on and be like, okay, look, I get it, but I could go to Vegas for 2 days, or I could just freak the fuck out and quit. I'm like, okay, well, I can only gripe so much. But yeah, no, that was incredible.
For those of you who haven't watched it, if you've seen the meme of Michael Jordan saying the words, and I took that personally, that's what that's from. There you go. Now you found the source.
I'm going to go full on basic bitch with my picks. They're both season 2s, which I'm not sure is kind of like cheating somehow, but I just really appreciated them. Just for being steady, solid entertainment I really needed. Neither of them as good as their season 1 debut, I think. But The Boys and The Mandalorian season 2. The Mandalorian in particular, because I reckon with the switch to streaming and the reliance on streaming people have now, this whole weekly episodic thing is going to be a lot more common. Because these streaming services are really fucking fighting each other now. And I could have blitzed all of that in a single day in The Mandalorian Season 2. I loved it. It was kind of like, a lot of people have gripes about it because it was kind of like, oh, what side quest is The Mandalorian doing today? But that's how adventure TV shows used to be. It was kind of, there was a meta arc, but then there was the adventure of the week, and you enjoyed the adventure of the week. And
sustained narrative.
yeah, for keeping somebody subscribed to a streaming service for 2 months, which will, get enough of those people to do that to justify the tremendous cost of these things, because they are so artfully done now. TV is right up brushing shoulders with movies now, particularly The Mandalorian. Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. It's like, oh, let's see what The Mandalorian's going to do this week, and that stupid baby is, it'll be fun. The fact that there was a lot of kind of marqueeing with season 2 for all these tremendous amount of Star Wars spin-offs that are so numerous, I'm just emotionally numb to the reality of them. I didn't mind much. I thought there was a lot of obvious fan service going on, but it was done in a way that didn't feel like it was grasping for a life ring, but it felt like it was building foundational steps, and it served a story. I thought that was fine, and it was just nice to see somebody taking all this material and just parceling it out in this family-friendly, cash-efficient way, in a way that was both satisfying for the consumer and the fanboys and the money-hungry mouse. As basic as they both were, The Boys and The Mandalorian, they both just did what they set out to do really well and entertained me. So
I agree.
I'm not going to try to be clever with my choices. Give me some of that sweet baby Yoda.
I'll admit I was actually considering The Boys season 2, but I decided to go instead, and most of it took place in 2020. I think it started in 2019, but mine would have to be Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah,
the cartoon, because it basically takes all the strength of DC animation, which is not inconsiderable, and adds a generous dollop of batshit to it.
And good writing. Like,
yes,
genuinely good, fun writing.
Like it's pretty fucking hilarious.
As much as the shit show as the DC movie franchise has been, that inconsistent and weird and sometimes good and sometimes terrible, people seem to forget that the best Batman was the 90s cartoon Batman, and the best Superman and the best Justice League, and the ones that everybody's the most familiar with, if they're not comic book fans, are those well-written and consistent cartoon shows. And I've been looking at a lot of the DC animated movies now, and I'm kind of a lot more interested in them than I am in the live-action shit.
Yeah, the Timiverse set the fucking standard. Like, no question.
Yeah, and like Harley Quinn is essentially it's almost like a deconstruction of the 90s Batman cartoon, just given an R rating. And it's like, yeah, you're right. There's like strong writing, there's good emotion, but it is funny as shit just how like they take some of the superhero stereotypes and just fuck with it. Like I would watch a show based on their interpretation of Bane alone.
Oh, the fucking Bane is amazing. Like, oh, King Shark is... I laugh my ass off every time Ron Funches speaks. Like, that, the interpretation of him as like a meat computer nerd who occasionally bites people's literal heads off.
Where can I watch this?
HBO Max.
God damn it. The one I don't have.
Like, it's just cracking me up. Just like Bane loses his mind because he keeps going into like a coffee shop and they keep writing "bang" on his cups.
That is enough to make anyone turn supervillain.
Does he have the Tom Hardy voice?
They do a good job. They pretty much spend his entire voice is basically mocking the Tom Hardy voice.
Yeah,
Excellent. Fucking, I'm
Let's talk
sold.
about what happened at dinner. I had ordered the fish. I had signed my card early in advance, and you took my food.
I don't give a shit about what anyone thinks about the third Christopher Nolan Batman film. I understand your concerns, but for me, Bane speaks like this now. That's just how it is.
Yeah, you'll like the new Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. If I can understand what he's saying, I'm not fucking interested.
Oh, that's a good pick, Rick. That's a good pick.
We'll go from basic bitch to interesting back to basic bitch because mine's another season 2. Umbrella Academy season 2 was fucking awesome.
I really liked how they took that kind of mumblecore Justice League and amped it up a little bit, because I was really I enjoyed season 1, but I was kind of like, where are you gonna go from here, you hipster pretentious fuck? But they amped it up and they kept the hipster vibe. So I was impressed with that and anxious to see more. I'm invested now in Umbrella Academy.
And I think that my favorite question that anyone ever asked about that series is, who's your favorite member of the Umbrella Academy and why is it Klaus?
It's the boy for me. I just love that murderous little boy.
Yeah, I kind of like him too. What's it? Number 5?
Number 5. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that show. I think it's great. The music is fantastic. The costuming is on point. The whole building of season 2 around the Kennedy assassination and, the butterfly effect shit of that is really fascinating to me. But I also have to own my redneck side. Because we cannot,
here it comes.
We cannot talk about television in 2020 and not talk about Tiger King.
I knew you were let me down, man.
Knew that was coming from somebody.
I got you, boo. I mean, the mullets and the meth mouth alone make that shit Emmy worthy.
Mullets and meth mouth is the pride and prejudice of the modern day.
The fact that the entirety of the narrative didn't take place in Florida baffles me. But adding such terms to our cultural lexicon like that bitch Carol Baskin. I mean...
I was going to say, I have to admit, the most fun I had, I think, in 2020 was over in Team Twatwaffle mocking that with, like, the Vampire King thing we did.
Oh, that was funny as hell. I have friends who literally posted a sign on their front door that said UPS packages here, and an arrow to the other side and says Carol Baskin killed her husband and fed him to tigers. And I'm like, damn, that's just the level. If we knew when that show first came out that it would not be the most fucked up thing we saw over the next 9 months, and that everything that surpassed it would be on actual news channels, we would not have believed it.
I get really annoyed when the zeitgeist just shifts to stupid things for no reasons. But I never watched Tiger King. But it just became this cultural phenomenon that I just really enjoyed without having to actually experience the product at all. It's like, oh, I'm loving all these fucking meth tiger murder jokes. This is great. I'm enjoying this internet flavor. I don't understand it, but it's delicious.
And it landed at just the right time because it dropped right as places were starting to go into lockdown,
Yeah.
and people were starting to really get worried and, well, shit, maybe the world is on fire. Oh, wait, here's some fucking redneck making out with tigers, Milli Vanilli-ing the fuck out of country music songs, and claiming that his YouTube competitor murdered her husband and fed him to tigers.
What the world needed was someone we could all look down on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of the appeal. Is like, you know, a lot of you could, no matter how fucked up you were, you could watch this show and be like, I ain't that bad.
Yeah, it's like the world's gone to shit, but I haven't fed my husband to a tiger.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was early in lockdown. I assume
Well,
less people can say that now than
There's a
when we
lot more
started.
fat tigers out there now and a lot less husbands, I can tell you.
Oh,
I don't know. I mean, I've been around for all the internet meme shit, and I've gone a step beyond Steve. I watched the first episode,
Ooh.
and I don't feel that I missed out on not seeing any more than that. Because I mean, I got a grounding for the memes and shit, but yeah, I wasn't particularly interested to keep going. I appreciated what I saw.
You haven't made it to the fat albino with the ponytail riding an elephant.
Oh, well, now I need to watch it, I
Might
guess.
do a- yeah, well, no, I think I'm just gonna Google that, and
Yeah.
that'll be enough for me.
Ah, damn Bevan and his craftiness.
And smuggling tiger cubs into Las Vegas casino hotels in carry-on suitcases.
Oh, that just sounds... Well, that's just depressing me now.
Just,
Yeah, it sounds a little sad.
I mean, I don't want to be the son of a bitch who opens that suitcase.
No,
let me check your carry on there.
God.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Oh, God.
Prying a tiger out of his face.
Oh. Well, speaking of sudden and horrible deaths,
Oh, shit.
I'll touch on my pick for 2020, which was The End of the Good Place, which is about the afterlife. See how I segged it in there? Nice.
Yeah.
It was season 4 aired aired starting in 2019, but the end and the finale, which was a big part of wrapping a series, came out in January of 2020. And yeah, like, I have obviously been loudly following that for years and loving it, but you know, the test of a thing is in its finale, its ending, because it will, as Game of Thrones demonstrated, it can inexorably fuck up everything that has come before. But The Good Place did not do that. It landed very well. It had some easy outs that it could have taken, but it told a harder, not like hard, but just, it was a more emotional through finishing story that like really wrapped up in a final way that felt satisfying and good, and it was what I wanted it to be.
It really respected and was true to its philosophical premise in a way that most comedy programs don't feel they're obligated to kind of nail down like that. I wouldn't say that like the final season was the most hilarious thing I've seen on, and you know, The Good Place is hilarious. It's great comedy. It's smart comedy, but it's still just great comedy. It's funny. But that commitment to actually, let's play this out, not just for the character's sake, not just for the season's sake, not just for the series' sake, but for the actual core philosophy we've been talking about here's sake, I think was kind of a indication of solid artistic intent realized well. And I wish more programs were like that.
Yeah, it very much felt like Mike Shore got to tell the story he wanted to tell. He ended it the way he wanted to end it, and it was a complete and satisfying story. And in the business of television, it's very rare that they have the opportunity to do that, and then they have the artistic integrity to say no to more money and follow through on that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I mean, it pays off because people are still talking about it. Comparatively speaking, think of the phenomenon that Game of Thrones was, and now it's just kind of dropped off the lexicon.
That's mind-boggling. How much Game of Thrones has been rooted out of our popular culture. It's worth like so many studies. I would love to read deep probes on this.
Yeah, that's almost like somebody went back in time and erased it. You know,
It was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It was mind-boggling how pervasive it was, because I mean, I would hear people like in restaurants and stuff at the next table over talking about it, and I could, I wasn't even trying to listen, but I could follow their conversation, and I knew exactly what they were talking about. And then now, fucking nothing.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person who is like, oh, that ending kind of sucked. They didn't land that, but I enjoyed the ride, right, fellas? Everyone's like, no, you never speak of this again.
Yeah, we've like taken a coat hanger and like jammed into our brains to kill that part that remembers that show.
I used alcohol,
like.
but sure.
It's like, forget the numerous seasons of fantastic characters and writing, action, and shocks you've experienced. They let me down at the end. I'm never going to speak to them again. It was like a really bad breakup. They're just like cutting their fucking boyfriend out of the photos.
If the character growth and story goes nowhere and you know it's all going into shit, it's hard to enjoy that ride.
I treat Game of Thrones like I treat Star Wars. The first 3 Star Wars movies just didn't happen. I refuse to acknowledge that they exist. There are 6 Star Wars movies plus the spin-offs. But
wait, you mean the first in terms of numbers, not
yes,
time?
yeah,
Yes.
Star Wars as a series
Chronology.
started with Episode 4.
For a second, I thought John was like prequels only. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Those are my Star
Here's
Wars.
the thing.
Fuck Empire.
Jar Jar or fucking nothing.
I'm sure there's somebody out there that has that sense. I ain't him.
This is why I can do the whole Game of Thrones thing and separate, because I can watch episode 4 and see Darth Vader make his dramatic entrance and not think to myself, oh man, you were just a fucking whiny bitch for so long. And I can look at Luke Skywalker's hopeful face and not imagine him as an old man sucking on the tits of a space cow. So, I can isolate what I enjoy about something,
Yeah.
That's a little bit different though, because it's easy to start with episode 4 and just ignore the prequels, and you can keep going to the end. But with Game of Thrones, like I'd like to rewatch that, but I know
Just
if I do, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Just
and,
stop at season
I don't
5,
wanna-
like the fucking author does.
I don't want to.
Yeah. No, I disagree. There's still, even in the last season, there's some fantastically written dialogue exchanges between just characters kind of wrapping up little philosophical conversation between themselves.
I did like the death of Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, and just the final conversation between Tyrion and Jaime. There were lots of lovely little bits like that. It was hurried. It was pointlessly hurried, it turns out, because of people being idiots rather than logistics, which is what I would have hoped for. But I don't know, there were still nice places, and I could still definitely go back. And I'm not going to forget characters like Tyrion Lannister. Well, pretty much fucking everyone in the show. It would be pointless to list them all because there's so many great characters and
not
performances.
everyone, because I think like 70% of them I couldn't even name.
I mean, I have no idea who Ed Sheeran played.
So
No,
he
I'm
didn't
just
play a
saying,
fucking
like-
character.
There's that guy with the beard. I think I've seen him before, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah,
an enjoyable show.
since George R.R. Martin doesn't feel the need to finish the series, I can stop with season 5.
Well, I had a bit more sympathy for the TV adaptation once I started reading the books, because they were absolute page turners. But George R. R. Martin does not know where the fuck he is going with that at all. He is just like an expanding cloud of characters and intrigue, with absolutely no intention to tie any bow or cross any T's at all. And that's fine. It's entertaining enough.
Well, I mean, the framework's written for him, for fuck's sake. It's the War of the Roses.
It's a lot of things. It's the War of the Roses. It's the McGregor. Was it the McGregor wedding massacre or the hospitality massacre? He's basically stealing all the horror from English and British history.
Yeah, so we know how it ends. A bunch of fucking rednecks throw tea in the water, and then it all goes to shit.
It ends with the creation of America.
See? Fucked that up.
No, it kind of did. It kind of pulled that off in a really ham-fisted way in that last episode.
And now to
So
go
fucking
to America
jarring.
for game of whatever presidents have instead of thrones.
Oh, no.
Let's make my brother, who has no dick, king.
Well, we should all vote. Oh, perhaps my horse can get a vote. Har, har, har.
Well, that's absolutely true to English history as well.
Also fairly relevant to Chicago.
Also pretty relevant to American history while we're at it. But
I said horse, not horse.
That's
you
two
wish
votes.
horses could vote.
I feel like a horse has been a mayor of at least one town.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I read that, but
Oh.
I'm willing to like bet $5 on that.
I could just feel that in the atmosphere as a
Yeah.
solid religious truth.
I'm just Googling horse mayor.
And if not, I bet we could run one and make it happen.
Oh, God. Oh, Mayor. I thought you meant M-A-R-E. I thought you were making some sad dad joke or something.
What do you mean? That would have been a fucking brilliant joke, and you know it.
I think all our jokes are sad dad jokes, and I don't even fucking have kids. So,
Unbelievable.
Oh man, there's a lot of non-human animals that have held off.
Oh,
Some of them have statues.
put that fucking link in the show notes. Mostly because I want to watch it.
All right, before we got distracted by how the Game of Thrones finale managed to destroy Game of Thrones out of the timeline. Quite spectacular. What the fuck were we talking about? Television that happened this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
I've got one.
All right.
Yeah, I watched a lot of TV this year, and I don't remember a lot of it. I do remember this one though, Wayne. It was not 2020. It was 2019, but
Jesus
that was on YouTube Premium, and that doesn't really count. It
All right.
came out on
I'll tell you what.
What?
I'm going to give you a year's grace with anything that first appeared on YouTube Premium because nothing counted.
I
when
don't
it
need
first-
your fucking grace.
Yeah, you do, because I'm fucking
No.
running this podcast, bitch, and I'm giving you my
Yeah,
grace.
well, I'm not choosing anything but Wayne, or it's Wayne or Usna.
Well, you're allowed to.
Take a
You're
pick.
allowed to
Take a
choose
pick.
Wayne because I just said so.
All right. Well,
Because
there
of
you
the
go.
rule I just made up.
And because he doesn't want to edit around all this.
I'm going to edit. I don't know how I'm going to do it in an audio format, but I'm going to edit a dick on your head. Now continue with your Wayne.
Yeah, I think people are already seeing that.
They are now.
Wayne, am I the only one that's seen this, or does anyone else?
I have no idea what you're talking about, dude.
No, I keep accidentally thinking of Letterkenny every time you say
I-
Wade.
I know-
Like,
I
that
know
was a
what-
good one too, but not this year.
I know what it was, but like I remember I was thinking, I was like, hey, I might watch this, but then I saw it was on YouTube, and I was just like, fuck that.
This might be the YouTube Premium stigma.
Is that the one with the pissed off little kid, the shithead kid on the bike?
He might be on a bike. I don't know. It's a kid, and he's like from like White Trash, Pennsylvania, and he's
Yeah.
traveling down to White Trash, Florida to like retrieve his dead father's stolen car.
That
It's,
is way deeper than I
oh.
expected it to be.
Fun little romp. I really enjoyed it. What I will say is that I enjoyed the performance of, let me find the actor's name, Stephen Kieran as Sergeant Stephen Geller, the cop on his tail. He's a strange guy who just keeps getting more and more interesting throughout the series, and really blowing up at the end. And so much so that I went and I looked at him on IMDb. I wanted to find more shows that he was in, but he has not had a very extensive acting career, unfortunately.
Well, let's hope that YouTube Premium is not where he went to die. The point I was trying to make with my grace on YouTube Premium is there's a lot of stuff released on YouTube Premium that nobody watched because it was fucking YouTube Premium. And we've all got our expectations of what YouTube is. These like what YouTube Premium is, that like HD cat videos. So I think a lot of stuff kind of needed a little bit more time maybe to kind of, particularly again, as an example, the Karate Kid series, which turned out to be fucking great. Which I thought, oh, it's on YouTube Premium. It sounds like a stupid idea. I'm probably not going to watch that.
I watched that. I watched the first season when it was on YouTube. Also, I don't need your fucking grace.
You must be like one of those free YouTube Premium early adopters. Congratulations for having you fucking thumb on the zeitgeist.
The idea of giving YouTube money is just not right.
It's not how the world's supposed to work. The money's supposed to flow the other direction.
It doesn't.
I know.
I will say I have the YouTube Premium as a consequence of having had Google Music, because that was my version of Spotify, and they bundled the premium YouTube with it. And goddamn, once you have commercial-free YouTube, it is pretty nice. They jam them motherfuckers in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know if I'm willing to. I don't know. Maybe the adverts will become a lot more obnoxious and I'll be tempted to.
Oh, I don't think I could justify it for YouTube alone. It's just you have to pay for a decent music service at some point, and so I just picked one that gave me that bundled in.
Or maybe now that some of the content has made it past the stigma barrier and turned out to be really rather good, maybe I'll be a bit more tempted to try out YouTube Premium.
I think they got rid of YouTube Red. I don't think they're doing original shit anymore.
Oh well, nice try, YouTube.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why they're selling it all to Netflix.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, sorry, Bevan.
Sorry for what?
YouTube not working out.
I don't give a fuck about YouTube.
Why not? I thought you just said Wayne was like your major pick.
It was, and I enjoyed the show.
But you were happy to just see it die. And
Well, I mean, that's already been canceled.
it's already
Fuck YouTube. I don't.
it's already been cancelled. All right, okay. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yes, you are, and you'll love it.
Wait, has it been canceled or is the story completed?
Well, I mean, nah, no, it could definitely go on, I think. But I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. On August 16th, 2019, the series was canceled after one season.
Ah, bugs. Well, here's
Yeah.
hoping it gets picked up by a more stable stream.
Oh, slow down. The first season was added to Amazon Prime Video on November 6, 2020, which renewed speculation that it could be renewed for a second season.
So Amazon picked it up. Okay, well, if it's on
Yeah.
Amazon,
Well, and that's
I can
where
watch it.
Well, that's where I saw it. I saw it on Amazon, which is why I saw it in 2020.
Ah, I see. Okay.
I didn't watch this on YouTube.
All right, so we don't even need to be talking about YouTube then. They've already sold all their decent stuff onto other platforms.
Well, you were like giving me this clemency that I didn't ask for.
Well, you
before
did. You
I even
did
got to
ask
say
for it
anything.
because you watched it on Amazon
I-
Prime. God damn it, Bevan. That's the point I was trying to make. Nobody watched anything on YouTube because they all thought it was going to be cat buttholes. Wall-to-wall
I'm
cat
saying-
buttholes.
You came at me before I could even get into
I was
it.
trying to excuse the fact that you only watched it in 2020.
I don't need your excuses.
Okay, all right.
I do.
I'm a sovereign citizen.
Oh, fuck you. Right in your ear hole.
Oh, you contentious bastard. I was just trying to justify your 5-year-old fucking 2020 picks, alright? If you don't even have, that's fine.
Shit. I should have picked Justified. That was a good one.
Justified's fucking incredible. If we can just pick one show forever, I'll take Justified every year.
That is not the point of the 2020 year in review, but yeah, Justified was really good.
The season with Patton Oswalt is still the best shit I watched on TV this year. Because you underestimate Constable Bob at your peril.
Oh,
Apparently, I have to watch Justified.
I don't know. I guess this is our podcast. If you just want to talk about things that have existed, at any point in history.
I mean,
Ah,
something that's actually really new that Susie and I watched and enjoyed is Big Sky.
I haven't heard of that.
It's new on, I think, ABC, and we're watching it on Hulu. But the first 5 episodes, so it's at the mid-season break right now. It's a thriller series about a couple of private investigators, and they think they're looking for missing people, but it turns out they're dealing with fucking serial killer.
Oh, actually, I have heard of this. This is making some noise right now.
It's pretty damn good.
I will be keeping an eye out for that.
Now, we like serial killer shows, so
A lot of people do, John. And there's no stigma about it anymore.
I've watched...
Nobody thinks it's weird because you masturbate to serial killer TV shows.
That's good, because 19 seasons of Criminal Minds, bro.
This is what people do now. They kick back, they relax, they watch the absolute terrifying worst of humanity, and, you know, just fall asleep on the couch to it. That's what we do as a species now, and it's just fun.
after the jar is full.
The jar. Oh my god.
I might beat my kids, but at least I don't stuff baby tigers into my carry-ons.
Well, Rick, I mean, we haven't made it through 2021 yet. Let's not knock any income streams until we've seen how the
Yeah,
year
I mean,
goes.
let's not put ourselves in any boxes.
Or carry-ons.
Unlike those tigers, we might have to smuggle.
Yeah.
All right. I brought him in. Bevan, this is like just a pallet of Frosted Flakes.
The number one assassination method of 2021.
That would be great for all the people walking around like stealing packages of people's, like, you know, porches and stuff. They get home, open it up, and there's an angry tiger inside.
Oh, I thought you were just thinking like porch tiger for when someone tries to steal your package. Porch tiger. Warning,
No,
porch
I
tiger
like-
may also maul mailman.
Frosted Flakes, good.
I like Rick's idea better. Like the motherfucker who stole that package of cards that you mailed to me, Drew. They get that package home and open it up and rawr.
Somebody left a king-size box of Frosted Flakes on the porch. They're shit, there's a tiger. It's ironic and contains animal cruelty, so...
Oh, look, I got all of Drew's signed cards, and I got my face mauled off.
Worth it.
If 2021 is not the year of assassinating people by mailing tigers to them in variously distracting packages, then really what year can it be?
Dude, that's easy. All you gotta do is put a sticker on that says "Not a live tiger."
Definitely not a live tiger.
Oh, guys, I feel like I have to say this, but you've probably already seen this, but speaking of YouTube and Tony the Tiger, have you guys seen hashtag Tony is back?
No.
No.
Do yourselves a favor.
Well, there's
It's,
a New Year recommendation.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that up as soon as we stop recording.
yeah, do that. I don't want to say anything more because it's special.
Is this a segment we should have? Because we've gone through the main media that interests us anyway. Is random shit we found on the internet in 2020, should that be a category, or is that just too broad and insane?
Yeah, I
I'm
got
just
nothing.
looking over these
Yeah,
Tony
I
is
don't.
back videos.
Oh wait, okay. You know what? It's not a 2020 one, but it is one I enjoy. For the YouTube one, Defunctland is a site, or is a YouTube channel that does histories of theme parks and rides. They just did a whole like mini series about the life and times of Jim Henson. The dude who makes them is very compelling. Like they're well constructed little mini documentaries, and they're fun if you have an interest in how some of that stuff works. I got hooked by, they did one about a theme park I grew up around. So it's a neat, good, relaxing background series. Like just something that is completely neutral. Just learning about theme parks.
Learning about theme parks. Well, I recently found a guy, and I shared a couple of his videos on the Authors and Dragons Facebook page because it was relevant to RPG games. And It's just a guy called Joel Haver, and he just does random animated comedy skips. I think part of a 2-man writing team. And the only reason I mention him is because these really caught my eye. Just these ridiculous kind of what if you were an NPC in Grand Theft Auto video skits he does. And it appears he's only just blowing up. So it's not often that I'm, ahead of the curve on anything. So I just felt good about stumbling onto this guy. That's Joel Haver. He's a funny dude. Check out his videos. That's my 2020 pick.
I don't think anything that I watch on YouTube regularly started or really got going in 2020. I just watch a lot of pro wrestling and Magic the Gathering videos.
Yeah, I did not play by that rule with mine.
Well, that's the thing. If we're not saying by like something you found specifically that happened in 2020, then it's far too broad to do a category on. But I just thought maybe we should acknowledge the.
Yeah, I don't need your permission. Tony's Back came out in 2015.
Yeah, I can't help but thinking that you are just not on board with this whole best of 2020 vibe I'm trying to put out here.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, all right. Well, you come up with the next.
I'm saying it in 2020.
Things we saw once. That will be our next fucking New Year's side quest. Things that happened at some point in my existence that I saw
before 2020.
Well, all right, it's fine.
It's not you got the power. You can go edit out all my shit I said. That's
no, I'm not gonna.
You.
I think this is what our listeners deserve: a 2020 rundown with shit you vaguely remember from 2015. That's our fucking brand.
That is kind of our fucking brand.
Yeah,
that's a little bit right.
Yeah, my video game pick was from 2016.
All right. Why don't we wrap this one up with a turn toward the year ahead? Don't worry, just in terms of media. Is there anything in 2021 that anyone's especially looking forward to, be it a TV show, a movie?
I got 2 I'm specifically looking forward to. I believe the next Breath of the Wild game is coming out next year. I could be wrong about that. Nice. But Breath of the Wild is one of those games that's so great that I will, much like Ocarina of Time, just take the same again, but different, as Majora's Mask was. So if it's that for Breath of the Wild, I'll be very happy with that. For movies, I'm quite interested in the new Batman film, which kind of looks like a more stripped down, detective orientated Batman.
Yeah, that's what I heard it was going to be, and then I saw the trailer, and I don't think that's what we're getting.
I don't know. It looks a bit grungy and serial killery, but after seeing the trailer, I'm still intrigued because we've had sort of Justice League Batman for the last few years. It was just basically a man in a gimp suit with a lot of machine guns. So I don't know if it's Robert Pattinson just really working out some issues on some homeless people or whatever this movie is about. I'm interested to see it.
I think mine are pretty simple. I mean, I'm not sure there's any video games that come to mind, but movies wise, I am fucking there. When Godzilla vs. Kong comes out.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I already got. I'm gonna ask the family nicely if they want to watch it with me, but if they don't want to, it's like get the fuck out. leave me.
Go stand in the yard.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that one because I did like I thought the last Godzilla movie and the last King Kong movie were great for people who like stupid giant lizard and stupid giant monkey movies, and to combine those stupid movies together in a stupid giant monkey, stupid giant lizard fist fight. I'm really excited.
I feel like you're kind of labeling me here.
Pretty sure you did that to yourself, Rick.
I'm not saying he's wrong to label me.
Stupid's perhaps the wrong way. It doesn't need to be this Peter Jackson cinematic tour de force or reference of classic movies.
No, I don't need that kind of like. I just want to see shit blown up by giant monsters.
Yeah. We all know what we tune in for Godzilla movies for. It's like the 90s Hollywood Godzilla movie did not get it right. The Peter Jackson King Kong movie, for as much as it is a great movie, just didn't quite grasp what it is we like about giant monsters punching the shit out of things. So yeah, I am looking forward to this one.
And TV wise, just like I wasn't sure what to think of it, but I really loved the trailer. I'm very much looking forward to Loki.
Loki looks really good, and mine is Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Ooh.
A lot of the Marvel stuff's looking really good.
Yeah, similar boat. I'm down for WandaVision. That looks weird, interesting, and I love 50s TV. So like that aesthetic is really there for me.
I love the fact that everything they're doing seems so different from each other, because I sort of thought I was done with Marvel, because we've had a lot of that, and Endgame was a big old emotional climax, and yeah, they did another Spider-Man movie, but I'm not that excited. But now I've seen the trailers for this stuff, and it looks like they're going in really interesting directions, and I guess I am Disney's bitch now for another 5 years. So.
For me, for TV, like I said, Falcon and Winter Soldier. For movies, Black Adam, The Rock playing a superhero, I'm in. I don't need anything more than that.
He's a charismatic dude.
Yeah. I'm
okay.
in.
Bevan, what television are you looking forward to from 2017?
I don't know. I've been researching a spiteful movie pick. I'm trying to get into television. For movies, I'm gonna choose Buster Keaton's 1926 silent classic, The General.
Excellent. I'm sure that will be great when it comes out.
I was almost certain he was picking Ghostbusters 2016.
I thought he was going for the day the
God,
clown
I'm not a
cried.
monster.
Come on, Rick. Let's not make this personal. Jesus.
I will say that I'm kind of looking forward to the Suicide Squad movie.
I'm curious about the Suicide Squad movie.
There's a
curious.
lot of people in that thing. And, I mean, look, the floor for success is so goddamn low.
Oh, dude.
I love the idea that they're just going like, okay, let's take the stupidest villains we've got and bring them into reality. I think that sets an appreciative tone. And if they want to wipe out canonically the last Suicide Squad but keep Harley Quinn, I don't mind. That's fine.
I think they're going to be fucking around with the DC EU, all manner of tweakery and whatnot.
Yeah,
I watched Suicide Squad again last night, and yeah, it's like the bar is so fucking low.
Rick, why did you do that to yourself? I know how much you hate that movie.
Did you just need to end 2020 on a real low note? Because goddamn.
You can't get a rage boner without rage, guys. God.
You're doing it wrong.
No, I feel like that's true for a rage boner.
You know, the funny thing is, for some reason, I've been going after Wonder Woman 84. I was like, for some reason, I felt the need to go through all the DCEU movies again.
What?
I don't know why.
You do hate yourself.
There are easier ways to hurt yourself.
You know, sometimes you have a shitty memory and you want to watch a movie again just to see if it maybe gets better with age. And, well, they don't.
I get that. Every few years I eat at Chili's just to see if it's still terrible.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
I do
no.
that too.
That's what I thought our podcasts were for, to like bury these things. I've not had an urge to watch Ghostbusters 2016 after we made ourselves watch it for critical purposes on the podcast.
I do. I enjoy coming back to that particular rage boner every now and again.
Oh, I will make us do Suicide Squad for an ATM.
I honestly thought we had.
Didn't we do How Did This Get Made, or was that just
Yes.
no? Yeah, we did for that and
Yeah.
Justice
We did a How Did
League.
This Get Made, not an at the movies. All right, I'll do my.
Still haven't seen it, so let me know.
I'll do my movie pick, which is the Ryan Reynolds movie Free Guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Didn't that get put back a year?
Yeah, I mean a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for that again today. I was fucking around on YouTube and I watched the trailer.
He's
For
such a
it
fun
again.
guy.
It looks good. Ryan Reynolds has been picking good projects, and he's always been quality. So
He's
See-
on the list of Hollywood people that I may not want to hang out with sober, but I'd really like to get high with.
He does. He
That would
does
also be
have
fun.
a nose for interesting projects. Let's not talk about Green Lantern at all.
also his gin, pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah. I grabbed some, made a few cocktails with it. Pretty damn nice.
All right, I think we safely put 2020 to bed there and laid out our hopes for 2021 and 1948 or whatever it was Bevan's pick was. But
26.
26. Okay.
They had sound in 48.
Yeah, what a disastrous year for our idea of cinema, not just cinema itself. Perhaps a pivotal year for video games with the fallout from Cyberpunk 2077. Let's hope so. And all in all, a pretty fucking sterling year for television and streaming services, which I think is the shape of our viewing future. More so. It has been for a couple of years, let's be real.
Yeah, fuck you, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good fucking riddance.
Yeah, let's put this one to bed.
If anyone would like just a moment to ceremoniously piss on 2020 right now so we can move on, walk away from it like an explosion of piss.
Or a bumper sticker of Calvin pissing on
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Or a bumper sticker of 2020 pissing on Calvin.
Too real.
I don't want to see that.
Anyway, there's just a huge ocean of piss behind us. And let's hope we can surf that piss wave into a better year.
And you can start that off with the latest Shingles release, which is now available. The Mummy's Curse.
Tired of the smell of piss? Why not embrace the smell of cum with a new Shingles release?
Same hole, different fluid.
Oh, but seriously, audience, thanks for sticking with us. It's been a fucking awful year, and it's been great to have you along with us. So thanks for that, and we hope to hang out with you more next year. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's a solid commitment, Rick. Very brave.